Bang! All right, folks, I am back. John Najarian here from Market Rebellion. What we do all day is we try to follow the smart money. Now, many of you guys know that that means that we're trying to find the unusual activity, which I'll be bringing you with our 3 at 3. But we also trade a lot of stocks throughout the day. And I wanted to bring you 5 of those right now. So, without any further ado, quick disclaimer, this is informational purposes only. I am not your investment committee. You need to go to your investment advisor and ask them and or discuss on your own whether or not any of the investments that I talk about are appropriate for you. With that said, let's dive in. All right, so we noticed today that there were a ton of coronavirus related investments that were moving up. Many of them moving rather dramatically. I mean, I'm looking at some of the trades that I've got written down here, and oh my gosh, I wish I would have just held some of these, but I want to share these with you. Obviously, the reason that so many of these stocks move 400%, 500%, things like that, is that they're very, very small cap, micro caps. I have tried to eliminate those for the purpose of this presentation today, and I'm focused on stocks that are a little larger, some of them over $1 billion. So I know for some of you that is still a small stock, but it's certainly not the micro caps that are trading for $10 million, for instance. And there's a lot of those out there, and those are the ones making those 300% and 400% sorts of moves. All right, let's get into it. Genmark Diagnostics. So, as the name implies, these guys do diagnostic testing. And they are saying that the Food and Drug Administration has issued an emergency use for their diagnostic test for, of course, corona-related illnesses. This is something that we all know needs to be done. We're talking all the time about flattening the curve. In other words, the steep curve, folks, that one is the one where we overcome the hospitals, overcome the amount of ventilators and beds. That's what we don't want to do. So that's why we're practicing social distancing, so we can stretch that out or flatten that curve to where we don't have that big spike above the state's ability to handle it. So this is one of those testing or diagnostic facilities that is able to provide tests to determine this person does not. That's invaluable information. Moving forward, we think many of these will do quite well. So Genmark Diagnostics, symbol GNMK, at the time that I grabbed this screenshot was up 28%. Since I'm live in front of you now, I don't know where it is this second, but this is one that I've traded. You can see that there were 2 rather distinct areas where it fell down into the approximately, let's just say below $4, somewhere between $3.50 and $4. One was the 2nd of March, and the other was just recently. And now we've seen the subsequent jump. So I'm not saying, again, that I'm one of those guys that buys it on that low at $3.55 and sells it up north of $5. But there's plenty of room in there, folks, to make some trades. So when you have a situation like this, many of us say buy rumors, sell news. That's an old Wall Street adage. But when you have something like that, really the purpose here is to look at what's out there and determine, okay, if the Food and Drug Administration has issued an emergency use authorization, or EUA, that's one of the things that we want to pay attention to, because that'll get investors focused in on the stock again. So take a look at GNMK. The next one I've got is Serene, and I've got several trades in this one. These guys have a protein that they use to basically get in here, and as you can see by the name, it's a therapeutic company. These guys, Serene, SRNE, up 17% today. Basically, they're looking for exactly how could you give people some sort of relief. Is it a cure? No. Is it a vaccine? No. But just like we've talked about over and over again with Gilead and with Moderna, there will be treatments out there for coronavirus or COVID-19. And this is one of those stocks that I was trading today. I'm out of it right now. Could go significantly higher. Maybe this one screams a lot higher, but I just was making small trades in this name today. Again, I'm going to show you 4 of these that I've been trading so far today. Next one, take a look at Amneal Pharmaceutical because these guys are headquartered not all that far from where we would do halftime report. These guys are in Bridgewater, New Jersey. So not exactly right next door, but not exactly a million miles away. And they're a fully integrated pharmaceutical company. This one is, I believe, over $1 billion. Don't have my live feed right here, so I can't. If I switch the screens, that'll be what you guys see. Amerex, well, let me just do that just for the sake of argument then. Let's see here. Let's go to Amerex. AMRX, just so we can show you exactly how big the company is, because I believe this one, Amerex, is over $1 billion, and indeed it is. It's just over $1 billion, 52-week low, as you can see from my Yahoo right here. The days range is 320 to over $4. It's hanging in here at 345, and the 52-week range, let's see, where is that here? Do I have that one up here? Yeah, there it is. 227 to $14. So this one's not exactly, it's not one of those leapers that we've had to chase real far. This has been a nice trading range stock and just one I'd put on your radar for later on. Lastly, Osure, which is O-S-U-R. This one, here we go. It is almost $500 million company, 481 million. Orasure Technologies, actively involved with several labs, is what we have seen. And Orasure has received a lot of questions about, okay, how could they work to help us out during this crisis? As you can see, 52-week range, $5. I'm going to highlight it there. $5 to 11 in rough terms. Let me go back to the presentation here and show you that. Let's see here. Go to present. There we go. Orasure up a little over 4% today, and right up against some resistance, short-term resistance at least, if not longer term, that it has hit in the last few weeks. So watch this one as well, folks. O-S-U-R, Orasure. And let me just see, break it back down to what sort of volume numbers we're seeing today. Over 1 million versus 500,000 normal activity. So that's another reason to pay attention, because whenever we see a surge in volume, that's one of the triggers that Pete and I like to use. Lastly, take a look at what we've got in CRWD, CrowdStrike, because it's a security play, basically cloud-based security play. And these guys beat on top and bottom line. It's the only stock among my group today that I've been trading that is not in the COVID-19 category, but obviously people paying more attention to security and being online more from home might be one of the drivers that keeps this one in focus. As you can see, just over the last several days or month, it was coming down from the mid to high 60s all the way down, breaking into the 30s, and now back up at 47 and change, up 13% today. So with that said, thank you for joining me, folks. I hope you have a great afternoon. I've got 2 more live streams today. One coming your way, our 3 at 3. That will be on here with unusual activity, or UOA, unusual activity, at 3 p.m. Eastern time today. And an hour later, at 4:15 p.m., I'll have Andy McOrmond from Wallach Beth. And Andy is one of those folks who is a hardworking dude. He is a broker for the biggest traders on the street, meaning that Wallach Beth executes stock option ETF trades. They don't commit their capital, they find the other side of the trade. So where exactly are these guys seeing unusual volumes traded, and how are some of the biggest traders on Wall Street faring right now during these stressful times? We'll have Andy join us at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about that. Thank you for joining me, folks. I hope you have a great afternoon, and we'll be back here for 3 on 3 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today. Thank you.